Hey gang, check it out. The Gun Guy, my buddy Bill Wilson. I'm Ken Hackathorn. We're here to bring you a new episode. And this one's kind of interesting because Wilson Combat's known kind of as what we'll call a 1911 business. What's this?
Kim, this is our all new Bulwark.
Bulwark.
Bulwark. That means fortified defense type thing, if you want to look up the word. Basically what we got here, Ken, is a hard use service pistol. You know, that's the target market for this, a hard use service pistol. Somebody's going to do a lot of shooting on the range, you know, somebody actually puts a lot of rounds down range and needs something that's extremely durable. So that's one of the target markets for it. But the other thing that we focused on, you know, I mean, we're all aware of the SIG 320 debacle. This gun's been engineered to be the safest handgun that we could possibly produce. You know, we've done everything we can do to make this gun the safest it could possibly be. It's got 4 safety features to it. Cocked here. Got the grip safety here. When the grip safety is not deactivated, it's blocking the sear and it's not raising the firing pin block out of the way. You know, when you depress that, it clears the sear, raises the firing pin block out of the way, so firing pin's active now. And it also is blocking the back of the trigger bow. So we've eliminated blocking the back of the trigger bow. We've moved it out of the way for the sear. We've deactivated the firing pin block, and it still can't fire because we blocked the trigger tab into the frame up here, you know. And then once you push the trigger tab with the grip safety, press the grip safety, press the trigger tab, now it does nothing. Okay, and an added advantage of having the trigger pad like this and having it lock into the frame, you know, you're all aware with 1911 style guns, you get trigger bounce, you know, especially if you loose strip a gun, drop a slide, you know, load it or whatever, you know, we can actually get a hammer follow because of the trigger, the heavy trigger bouncing and tripping the sear. Well, this eliminates that. We can't possibly have any trigger bounce to it. So durability, safety, and simplicity. I mean, the gun takes no tools to take it apart for normal field strip and all that stuff. You know, the slide is stainless, and it's riding on a fire control unit in here that's got the trigger mechanism in it and also has the frame res. So, you know, it's metal. You know, it's basically stainless on stainless everywhere. So, you got more durability. You know, for high round counts that you're going to have if you had aluminum frame rails, for example, what's on the X9.
But the grip module is aluminum.
The grip module itself is aluminum. Yeah. So the magazine release is reversible. You can turn it around for a lefty. Why a lefty wouldn't want to do that anyway, because this is so much faster than it is to do this anyway. So that's the basic feature. It's got a huge mag well. You know, I mean, that's, you know, it doesn't really add much size to the gun, but it gives you an extremely big opening there. You know, time you got the tapered mag of a double cobble mag and you got this big hole, I mean, it's pretty hard to screw up a reload.
It appears that aside from the mag catch notch, this is the same magazine as the X9 pistol.
Yeah, we stick with a proven magazine. It's 15 plus 1 capacity is.
And then it'll take the 18 round mags as well.
Well, we don't have that magazine available yet, but it will be. It will be available. These guns. You know, right now we only have the 10 and the, you know, for the commie states and the 15
for the non-free stage.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the overview of it. I mean, like every gun that we build, there's no castings, there's no metal injection molding mem parts in it. Every single component of this gun is machined from solid bar stock. You know.
All right. Feature-wise, I mean, it's pretty impressive in the sense that you've checked about every block. Obviously, rail for people that want to attach a light. It'll come standard with fiber optic,
Yes.
but you'll have the options like the X9 for different types of front sight.
Right now the options is either fiber or night size.
Night sight, okay. As far as tell me about the, for example, that one's got the cover plate on. As far, is it going to be a direct mount for most optics?
Yeah, it's our pins. It's our new pin system. The same thing that's on the Exterior.
Okay.
You know, you can mount the optic directly with two. You know, when you mount it, you'll have two M4, you know, big screws holding the side itself on, but then you'll also have two pins that go in, you know, had to align the pins and everything like that.
All right. Okay, Bill, I'm looking at this thing and I'm looking at in the back, and I noticed that when it's cocked, I see a red indicator, which I assume is the back of the hammer.
Yep, it's hammer fired, and so go ahead and dry fire it and watch your little red flag go away.
Not a striker fired.
It's not a striker fired. It's hammer fired, and the reason we did that, everybody loves a 1911 trigger pull, right?
It feels like a 1911 trigger.
It's the same thing. It's just a enclosed hammer, 1911, as far as the trigger mechanism is concerned.
You know, a number of years ago, I remember you and I talking about what the world wants is a Glock 19 with a 1911 trigger.
There, you got it.
It's got a good beaver tail, and
Like aggressive texturing, you won't have any issue with a guy moving around your hand when your hands are sweaty. Runs a flat wire spring, are dependable. You know, I mean, I'm a big fan of flat wire recoil springs.
yeah,
You know?
them too. Out of curiosity, a couple things. One is obviously no bushing. It's a fit up, so in essence, not an assembled gun. It's pretty much more of a fitted type compared to the norm in the market today, right? Or is this closer precision?
This is precision manufacturing and high quality production. This is our first foray into a quote production handgun.
So technically not like a 1911 that's a hand fit precision built gun. This is more of a production idea as far as a gun that's nearly to that quality, but it's a production gun.
It's like we could take these apart right here and we could switch the slides and switch the barrels and all that and just put it right back together. You know.
Cool. All right, big question. Price.
$18.95.
Well, now, so you're kind of breaching the gap between the current, we'll call production pistols out there and the high-end custom guns. You're kind of, Wilson Combat's doing something kind of unique. You're pricing a gun so that the guy that can't afford to spend or doesn't want to spend $4,000 on a custom gun has got something more in the price range that he can reach.
Yeah.
That's a big change for Wilson Combat.
Well, like I say, it's we don't have, you know, highly trained gunsmiths sitting there spending hours building this gun like we do building your CQB or your X9 or whatever. You know, I mean, we're relying on our machine shops to make us near perfect parts, so we could just put the parts together and have a quality handgun.
You know, obviously CNC has changed the manufacturing world dramatically.
Yeah, and this gun was designed from the ground up to be manufacturable on a CNC machine, unlike 1911.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's your gut feeling, or maybe you've tested, what do you think the durability, what's the life of this thing typically going to be?
I can't imagine it won't last just as long as a metal frame 1911, you know, I mean, 100,000 rounds or whatever. I mean, we've tested guns to 25,000 rounds with it, you know, with no issues. And the thing that really impressed me as we did the testing on it is how well this gun will continue to run when it's totally dry and filthy. You know, I mean, I don't like to do that to guns, but during our testing, we routinely shot them 5,000 rounds with no maintenance and no malfunctions. They just continued to run just as well as they did if they were properly maintained.
If I assume with just minimum loop, they're good to go. You just not like a 1911 hard fit.
Like I said, they've been with no lube. I mean, we ran them 5,000 rounds with no lube and full of firing residue. You know,
In the Glock territory there.
yeah. I think it's equally reliable with no maintenance to a Glock. I mean, I don't like to run them that way. I mean, I'm still going. You know, that's my personal one there. I still like the lube it. Wow, I'm gonna go shoot it, but
And I see it's got, obviously these are what, G10 air finishers,
G10,
much
yeah.
like the 2.0 concept. Yep. I like the idea of interchangeable magazine catch. You know, there's some guns on the market and have been from time to time that have ambi mag catches. A terrible idea.
Yeah.
You know, because the one that's on the outside is the one that gets bumped, and you end up popping your mag when you don't right. So yeah, that's well thought out. Looks like the extractor's more than beefy enough.
Oh yeah, got a lot of extractor contact on it. It's got a good stiff spring in it. So, you know, we just haven't, in all of our testing, we just really didn't have any malfunctions. I mean, you know, once we got the initial design finalized, I mean, the guns are just running, and they're not as accurate as a hand-fitted 1911 or X9, but they're more than accurate enough for any kind of service pistol. I mean, you know, you're gonna have no problem, you know, with shooting 2 inches at 25 yards, for example, something like that. I mean, you know, it's plenty accurate enough. And besides all the safety features, you know, which is, we think is a big deal, the other thing that just impressed the hell out of me about this gun is, you know, you got this low bore axis. The recoil control on this thing is, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, we had a guy come to the range when we were doing a lot of testing, because I had a lot of people pounding rounds on it. I mean, I didn't want to, you know, personally have to go shoot, you know, 100,000 rounds, you know. So I enlisted a lot of my buddies to come out, you know, and shoot, do a lot of shooting on them. And one of the guys was a real good shooter. I mean, we're talking master level shooter. And all he ever shoots is staccato with the portage staccato with a dot sight on it. That's his thing. That's his thing. And he shot this iron sighted gun. And honest to God, this is exactly what he did. He comes up, he goes, he did like a 3-shot boom 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 on a target, and he just stopped and, you know, kept the gun at target. He's a real safe shooter. Turned back to me and he says, I've never shot a non-compensated gun with that little recoil. I mean, that was a totally unsolicited comment. You know, he said, coming from a guy that was a master level shooter and used to a compensator, you know, saying, I've never shot a non-compensated gun that was that easy to shoot.
You know, of the test mule version I had, everybody that shot the gun commented on how shootable it was. I mean, that was the first thing. This thing is really easy to shoot.
Yeah.
And candidly, I don't think most people expected that. I mean, because you're like, today we seem to think you've got to have, you know, a trick gun to somehow get, everybody wants a soft pistol.
Yeah.
And people mess with recoil springs and all sorts of things. And everybody, I mean, regardless of what kind of 9mm, I shot a variety of 9mm. I mean, I shot, you know, you guys sent me some of this Wilson Combat practice. I haven't
Test far out.
Yeah, but I shot 8.82 NATO ball. I shot some plus P plus in it. I mean, it didn't really seem to change much. It's a real easy shoot. And I hate to use the term flat, but it's the way the gun doesn't leave the target. It tends to stay pretty much where it's at. And guys that had never fired the first, you know, I've got some of the Wilson Steel's targets, and guys would switch from target to target, you know, bam, 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 bam. And when they got done, I mean, everybody did the same thing. They stopped and they look at the guns, and go, wow. So I think that was a surprise across the board. Since it's more or less a modular concept, is there a possibility that down the road we'll see different configurations, maybe in length and maybe even grip length? Is that something that might come about down the road?
We've already finished testing on a 3.6-inch barrel end version of it. Yeah, so basically a little shorter slide. Still have this hose frame, and then the next iteration, I'm sure, is going to be a shorter frame with a shorter slide. Okay, more concealability and a little bit lighter gun.
Okay. Will these guns go out probably first through your dealer network, or will they be available from just direct order from
So it'd be both.
Oh,
They'll go to distributors, dealers, and hopefully we'll have some left on the website.
what kind of finish we got on the slide?
It's not tried, but not fair.
And it's an anodized, basically.
You know, hard anodized frame. The fire control unit and the slide and the breech block is nitride coated.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the slide and the breech block is two separate pieces. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I saw that, yeah. And that's basically, so most all of your impact forces are going to be directed on the breech block as far as any wear characters. And my guess is you're not going to get hardly anywhere.
No, not the heat tree spec for calling out on those. I mean, those are been heat tree like a 50 Rockwell. So
Well, I noticed, I mean, you check the for wobble, there's none. There's no movement here. I noticed there's just a little bit of a hood print on the breech face. So as far as lockup, it looks really consistent.
Yeah.
And
I think we have another video that shows it how the mechanism works and what it looks like disassembled and all that. Yeah.
And my understanding, we're filming this in April the 8th. This thing is actually going to be launched later this month.
28, 26th of that.
Okay.
April 26th.
This is going to
So
be
by the time this video's out, I'm sure the gun will
it'll be in circulation. That's pretty interesting, Bill. Any other thoughts about? I mean, obviously, from a price point, it is directed at a whole new direction for Wilson Combat.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, man. I mean, this is a different deal.
Well, this is step one to production guns, and the next one you guys are going to be seeing a bolt gun. That's pretty much just a production bolt rifle.
Cool. Well, the interesting thing, I mean, let's face it, I think of all the companies that produce what we'll call the kind of the custom 1911, where everybody stays 1911 oriented, it's kind of a jive step in the industry, and particularly for Wilson Combat, this is a big change in direction.
Yeah.
How long has this been in the works?
It's one of those projects, Ken, unlike the Exxon project. Let me regress here a little bit. Remember the start of the Exxon project, we're sitting in your little coffee nook area at your house in Idaho over coffee, and I'm sketching out some ideas on a napkin, basically. We're discussing, what my vision is for a double stack, gun. Well, we started that and we stayed pretty much on that track the whole time. It took us a long time to develop the gun because it was, a lot, we didn't have as many resources in as we do now, and also it was a big project. But we stayed true to the original vision of what it was supposed to be. Well, this project here, it started out as going to be a polymer frame gun. And the last thing, in my opinion, the world needs right now is another polymer frame handgun. And so I just never got excited about the project, and never pushed the guys to really, we kind of worked on it a little bit, and it didn't work on it a little bit, and all that. So, to answer your question, it drug out probably a year of us not really doing much with it because I wasn't excited about the project and didn't really give a shit about it much, And then, one day the lead engineer that did the majority of the design work on this gun, Jordan Wyman, one day I said, if that thing was an all metal gun, if it had aluminum frame on it, I'd be a lot more excited about this. And since he'd already put so much effort into it and it's his baby, I mean, it was literally days until I started getting renders of, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Well, then, it didn't take long until he sent me a rendering. It's like, well, now we're getting there, And so we accelerated the project from there.
And it's interesting, Bill, you and I both have commented how so many of the vendors of the polymer frame striker type pistols have now made metal frame versions of them. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that it's interesting. And I remember when you sent me the first sample was a polymer frame, wasn't it? And yeah.
And you probably wasn't excited about it either.
No. Absolutely. And the first one, there were people don't understand, bringing a new pistol to market is a lot of effort, it's a lot of expense, and nobody comes out with a new gun that's perfect. I told somebody, hey, Glock just introduced Generation 6.
Yeah. That's perfection.
And the first one had some, for example, the first one, if we remember, had some pinch things going on with the grip safety. Well, this one now, we're not gonna. It's not actually not even really aware of this there.
You don't feel it.
Yeah, you don't even feel it when you grab the gun or you're shooting it. You're oblivious to it. And unfortunately, unlike the 1911, which in my opinion, one of the worst things on 1911 from a shooter perspective is the grip safety. My hand size, I can't get them depressed. That's why we pinned them back in the day. That's not an issue with this, no matter what the hand size is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow. Well, listen, folks.
One of the other reasons that we developed this is how, I always carry a gun, and I'm here on the ranch the majority of the time, and unlike Idaho, I mean, it's warm enough the majority of the year to ride around an open Kawasaki mule, and it gets dry here. I mean, powder dry. I mean, and those mules. I mean, as you're going along, dust is coming into the back on like that. Especially if you ever stop abruptly and you're in the dust, it just comes everywhere. And on the 1911s that I'm normally carrying with a hammer and back with the firing tab blockade line and stuff. I mean, I'm having to clean that constantly. And gun scrubber blast out, some of the crap on the inside because I got so much dirt in there. And having the fact that the rear is virtually closed on this one, I mean, it's got to be better for carrying in a dusty environment.
Wow. Well, listen, folks, you got it from the horse's mouth. A new gun, a new design, a new approach from Wilson Combat, the Bulwark. Check it out, folks. I think you're going to find it pretty interesting, and it's priced at a price that the average guy can afford. And I think attraction for that market is going to be pretty valid. Okay, don't be afraid to subscribe. Tune in again. We're going to bring you more great stuff from the gun guys. Stay safe. We'll see you down the range.